That was fucked up.
80s.
Welcome back. It is another week with me. This week I kind of wanted to keep rolling with a little bit of the Halloween theme, but I don't want to do like horror and effects every week, and my sister gave me the idea to do a 80s makeup look. I was born in 88, so I, didn't get to experience the glorious years that they were, but I have a huge appreciation for the films from the 80s, the music, just the vibe in general was really cool. So I'm gonna try my best to kind of put something together. This is a good idea for, if you have a socially distant Halloween event that you're doing, or like a drive-through trick-or-treat experience with your kids or your friends, and you want to do a look that's not going to cost you a lot of money, then I think this is a really great option for you. Just go with some decade and kind of roll with it. But yeah, I got my Back to the Future shirt on. If you want to see more Halloween ideas leading up to the end of October, maybe Halloween ideas that you could do on a budget, or maybe Halloween ideas that if you want me to break out the effects again, I can do that. Leave a comment below, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Go ahead and turn into an 80s girl. Alright, so I think the vibes I'm gonna go with today, I already obviously have my foundation and concealer on because you guys have seen me do that 100 times and it's boring. So at this point, I've powdered my face quite a bit. People that were around in the 80s, or like a lot of the inspirational like icons of the 80s, they're very matte depending on who you look at. But if you look at like Madonna, or like I was really inspired by Debbie Harry, a lot of the photos that you see of them, they're pretty matte. So I've powdered the crap out of my face. There was a photo that I found where it's a really like soft pink and purple eye look, and then the pink on her cheeks kind of matches the pinks on her eyes. I have a feeling that they probably just used whatever blush they used on her cheeks, they probably use that on the eyes, which is a great thing that you can do. Blush is awesome to use as eye makeup. It's also good to kind of tie the whole look together. But I think I'm gonna do a little brighter on the eyes, and then I'll still do a bright blush, but it might not be the same color. And I think the cool thing too about the 80s is the brows were not like, they hadn't been plucked yet for the 90s, so they were all pretty full and like thick brows, which obviously are back now. And I'm gonna go in with a little bit of brow gel first. This is just the Benefit Gimme Brow in the shade number 3, and I'm just gonna run that through my eyebrows. So I am actually going to go in with a little bit of blush first. I'm going to actually use this Tarteist Pro Glow in Blush palette, and I'm going to use the brighter blush because I think that's probably what I'm going to use on my cheeks today. But I'm going to kind of use this as my transition color, and I'm not going to be precise with it. I'm actually going to bring it up higher than I normally would for my crease because I want it to go up into my brow. They don't really have a ton of disconnect when it comes to like the highlight underneath the brow, depending on what kind of photos that you look at. It's just a little bit of like a lighter fade in tone. I'm gonna go in with some brighter colors. I'm actually gonna use the Jaclyn Hill palette again. I also have this Makeup Forever shadow, back when they used to do their singles in their artist shadows, like in the circular ones. I will say, if you're on the fairer side, these will stain your eyes just because they're so pigmented. Anything that's like a bright pink, bright purple, red, stuff like that, like when you take your makeup off, it'll come off, but you'll still see like a slight hue on there for a couple of days, so just keep that in mind. But I think I'm actually gonna go in with the Makeup Forever pink first on that same brush that I used for my blush, or the blush color, and I'm just gonna slowly kind of start to put that a little bit lower than that color, like kind of just below my crease, so where my socket is. And then I'm gonna start to buff it upwards and blow it out. So So we've started our horror movie watch list officially. I know I talked about it in my last 2 videos. We're almost 20 movies in now. So we're making some good headway. We watched Pumpkinhead. That was a movie that came out in the 80s. That was actually surprisingly good. I hadn't seen that one yet. It's got a really messed up story at the beginning. For being like a creature feature, I really enjoyed it. We watched Chopping Mall. that was fun. And then we've, like, some of it, and then there's been a lot of ones that are rewatches. Obviously, a lot of them are rewatches for Josh because he's seen a lot of them, but we watched some newer ones that we hadn't seen. I'm actually doing like a highlight reel on my Instagram that I'll link below if you want to see all of them that we're watching, because I also have started to tell you where you can find like the movies, like so if they're on a streaming service or whatnot. When I think of 80s horror movies, I definitely think of Child's Play. That came out the year I was born, I believe, in 88. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, that's a great one. Alright, so now I've kind of just buffed that all through my crease and into that blush tone. And so now I'm going to go in with a little bit of purple on just like a small blending brush. And then I'm going to start that on the outer edge as per usual. Now I'm going to take in a little bit of the deeper tone called Not My Journey and just kind of lay that on top. Once again, I'm not being super precise with my blending. I'm just essentially getting the placement, and then I'm going to go back in with my first brush to buff everything out because I want it to have kind of that blown out look. To be a fun gamble just to make sure I'm in frame this whole time. I'm going back in with that original brush, just gonna buff. And I'm bringing it out, so I'm taking like those tones and then I'm essentially doing like a flicking motion to bring it to the side of my face. Then I'm going to take a clean blending brush and once again just kind of softly buff that out. Buff and stretch. I'm doing back and forth in like little circular motions and stretching that up. Okay, so I think that's like the level of like purple that I want. So I'm going to take in the shade Tipsy Girl from that Jaclyn Hill palette on that blending brush and just kind of run that along the top. Now I kind of want to have a little bit of fun with it. Like there is definitely shimmer that happens in the 80s. That's one thing I've noticed, is that a lot of the colors seem to be just like very frosty in general. And so I'm going to go on top of just my inner like crease area, or my inner lid area, with the shade Sunset Cove from Stila. It's one of their little like liquid eyeshadow, glitter and glow liquid eyeshadows. And this one's kind of cool because it's got like an opalescent like vibe to it. gonna take some of those colors and run them along my lower lash line. I'm not gonna do as much as like I usually would, just because the photo that they have reference of her is she's got some pretty intense black eyeliner, and kind of run that along my lower lash line. And then I'm gonna take that blending brush and just buff and blend it into that upper tone. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and line my eyes and do my mascara. I'm not gonna film this part because, you know. All right, so I got the liner on and I did my mascara, and then I kind of went back in and added a little more to my brows. So now I'm gonna go in with blush, and I'm gonna go crazy with it. The way that the blush looks in the photo is it looks like it's just like kind of the wraparound blush. So it looks like the eyeshadow obviously ends here and then it kind of wraps just like right on top. So I'm gonna go for that. I'm gonna use the brighter tone from this Tarte palette that I used at my pre-fix before. And I'm gonna kind of start high up and blend that down. With this lighter pink from MAC, the shade Dainty, and put that kind of on top. And I'm just going in. Sorry for the leaf blower. And to get it to be even more cohesive, I'm actually gonna go in with that first Makeup Forever shade. I'm gonna be very light-handed with it, like literally just a tap. So it's just barely, like barely on. And I'm just gonna kind of lightly apply that on top, just so it's a nice, like just so it all looks like unified. But I mean, if it's like Halloween, and obviously like for me right now, I'm not going anywhere. So if this stains my face, I'm not really concerned about it. Also, if you just get like a good makeup remover, it's fine. But I'm pretty sure all of us, like the day after Halloween, or like if you're like us and we go to like Mickey's Halloween party and stuff, if we got like crazy makeup on, it's likely that it's gonna stay there for a long time, you know? Alright, so I think that's where I want to stop, with at least with the cheeks and stuff. I'm going to get my lip on and then we'll kind of go from there. For lips, Gesundheit. For lips, I want to keep... I'm going to do a combination of different things. I'm going to line my lips with just like a neutral, like pink liner that I've used before. From Clinique. It's their Clinique Pop lip color. I don't know if this is still a thing. If anything, like I don't remember these being at Sephora when I worked there, but maybe at a Clinique counter or online. Yeah. And maybe I'll just throw a little gloss on top. All right, yeah. I think this is the final look, right? Yeah. Actually, I think it needs something a little more. Give me a second. So I don't have a regular like old school crimper, so I just use like a waver and then tease the crap out of it. And then, you know, my mom did this with my bangs for most of my childhood, and that's why I don't have bangs anymore. Obviously, you know, this is something pretty simple that you could probably piece together with anything that you have in the house. Obviously, this is a Star Wars denim jacket, but rock denim on denim, like get some light washed, like acid denim. Scrunchies are all over the place now because those Visco, like whatever girls brought them back. So definitely something that's doable. I think this is a fun look. Maybe I'll do a 90s inspired look, except do more like 90s, like The Craft, like those kind of movies. That could be fun. Let me know in the comments below if you like this look. Also comment below what your favorite 80s trend was, like in that you still stick to this day. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks again for watching another week all the way through. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good week, and happy official fall, y'all. Today's the first day of fall that I'm filming this, at least. So we're at least like 5 days into fall now. Ready for it to be less than 90 degrees outside so I can actually wear my denim jackets. All right. Bye guys. Have a great rest of your week.